It's double the fun this week on the Fitness Business Podcast as we are going to dive into lead generation tips for Google from the perspective of Sydney Andress and Megan Simpson. All of that and more on this week's episode. Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Follow along for all the behind the scenes, the guest updates, sponsor news, and the latest episode information. It's where all the fun happens. Oh, and loving a guest or an episode? Head to iTunes and write a review. Hi, I'm your host, Dory Nugent, and today our industry experts, Sydney Andress and Megan Simpson, are here to educate us on how to get noticed on Google. Sydney and Megan join us from Sherpa Collaborative and are super savvy with navigating Google from a business perspective. We will hear from Sydney and Megan in less than 2 minutes, but first, a huge thank you to One Fit Stop for sponsoring this episode.
One Fit Stop is modern fitness studio software built for the growing multi-location studio, providing scheduling, client management, programming, payment collection tools, and more that will set your business up to grow. To find out more, go to onefitstop.com or click on the link in today's show notes.
Thank you, One Fit Stop, and make sure you check them out at www.onefitstop.com.
Get your pen ready now for Keep Me's Fit Bizpiration.
What are your top 3 tips to having Google help our business?
Take advantage of all that Google has to offer. Describe your services, products, everything you can fill it out.
Number 2, use keywords in your review replies. Make sure you use your business name. If you do personal training, use keywords like personal training, kids club, daycare, classes, fitness classes, unlimited fitness classes. Use your keywords in your replies.
And number 3, track your efforts. Use UTM parameters. They are your friend.
Ready to learn how to start a successful fitness boot camp? Or maybe you're just looking to grab a few tips to improve your existing fitness boot camp. Well, we searched high and low to bring you the best. And we found Bryce Henson, the Chief Executive Officer of Fit Body Boot Camps, to inspire you to provide the highest quality boot camp possible. Come back next week when I interview Bryce and we talk about all things boot camp. After this week's interview, I'll introduce you to Bryce and you'll hear why you need to come back for his episode.
Are you interested in increasing your center's income and your trainer's income from small group training? Tribe Team Training is the new way to get more members engaged in small group training and paying extra. Click the Tribe Team Training link in the show notes or go to tribeteamtraining.com.au/podcast for your free formula to see how much income you can make from small group training.
It is time to get started with this week's interview with Sydney Andress and Megan Simpson. Hey, welcome everybody for joining us for another episode of the Fitness Business Podcast. Today we have 2 amazing industry experts with us. First one is Sydney Andress. She is the Digital Marketing Manager at Sherpa Collaborative. And also joining us today is Megan Simpson. She is the Chief Marketing Officer for Sherpa Collaborative. Ladies, welcome to the Fitness Business Podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Sydney, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us today, Dory.
Yeah, we're excited to have you 2 ladies on. You know what, Megan, why don't you just take about 30 seconds and just tell us a little bit about how you met Sydney and a little bit about Sherpa Collaborative.
Absolutely. So I actually knew Pete, one of the owners of Sherpa, from years back working at Fleet Feet, the franchise. And from there, got to work with them and see what they needed for their business. More conversations happened, and all of a sudden I started as their chief marketing officer. And I met Sydney through the Rex Roundtables. I was at O2 Fitness leading the marketing team, and Sydney was running all things digital for Genesis Health Clubs. And we had the chance to get to know each other, and we would go to these meetings and then collaborate for, emails and have our own Zoom meetings and just learn and feed off of each other. And we got to the place where we were able to, with our powers combined, join Sherpa and help our clients with the industry knowledge that we have.
Perfect. Now, Sydney, when we were talking before we started recording, you mentioned that Sherpa is a startup company.
Yes, it is. We are extremely lean and nimble. I love working for nimble companies where you can just go to the owner and say, hey, we need this platform. And he goes, okay, where do we go? And it's really neat to be able to do that. Sherpa started with pretty much a financial investment target, and then it's grown to where we now are in charge of all of the marketing for the brands that they invest in. So we have a vested interest in the success of each of these brands. We focus on fitness industry. We have e-commerce platforms. We've got motivational speakers and authors. So we have our hands in a lot of different industries and are able to use what we've learned in those different industries and apply them to one another. Megan and I have been in the fitness industry for a while. And so we've been able to take a lot of the knowledge that we've gained from there, where it's a very lead generation heavy industry, and take it over into platforms where there are purchases being made, and online sales are a huge objective. So we've been able to kind of morph our company into being able to change to those different industries, but also learn from all of them and apply those different things that we've learned.
All right. Well, I love the fact that you're going to take all the knowledge that you two ladies learned, and now you're going to bring it to us and all of our FBP family out there. So let's get started. We're going to talk today about lead generation tips for Google. And I'm going to start off, Sydney. I'm going to ask you the first question, and that is, can you blow us away with some of the data on Google searches?
I can. So there's actually 81% of consumers that will go to online channels before they ever go to a store or a location to purchase something. So you've got 81% of people that are taking their first impression from your digital perspective and not a face-to-face perspective. Another interesting fact is that zero-click searches rose to 65% in 2020. That means people are not wanting to see whatever's on that first page and go. They want that information easily accessible. They don't want to have to type in a lot of stuff, and they don't want to have to hunt around for your information.
Yeah, I have heard of that. It's just, you can't make it challenging. It needs to be quick. And you know what? I don't know about you two, but I know when I want something, it's like, hurry up. I've got 10 seconds, stopped at the red light. I've grabbed my phone and I just want to get my answer. So I appreciate that. So many owners would say, hey, I'm on socials and that's where I get my leads. Or they will say, hey, I get nothing from Google. What would you say to that business owner?
Yeah, so that's a very real possibility. You could have really great response on social. Maybe you're a small community and you don't need for people to be searching for you. Maybe you're the only location in a certain area, so everyone drives by your spot and they know where you are. If you have a lot of competition, you definitely want to be on Google. You want for there to be a search presence. You want for people to find you easily. You want for them to be able to search for you within a 5-mile radius and land on you. I will say, though, if you have lower than a 4-star Google review, Google Ads and Google advertising may not be the spot for you. I would recommend you increasing that review score before you invest any money into Google Ads, so that when people do search for you and they see you in search results, they don't go, oh, they have a 2-star review, I'm definitely not going there. You'd basically be paying for a billboard that doesn't look good. So you want to be able to pay for a billboard space on the virtual highway that makes you look really good. It puts you in a positive light. It has great glowing reviews that will get other people to say, okay, there's social proof here. I know so-and-so, they go to this gym. I know so-and-so, they love it there. So being able to have the right Google strategy and focus all of your efforts into the right things is really important. You don't want to be wasting money. So I would definitely advise focusing on that review score and making sure you've got a lot of stuff filled out on Google. If people are searching for something, they don't know what they don't know. So if you offer yoga or if you offer Pilates reformer, have that in your Google My Business profile so that when they do land on you, they can see that you offer something and they may be more apt to go to you first and as opposed to one of your competitors.
And also for the 4-star ratings, I made it an incentive plan we had 26 locations, and I would only advertise on Google for the club locations that had over 4-star ratings. Because if you're going to drive eyeballs to that location, it does not benefit the club or the company to show that the competitor has a 4-star rating and we have a 3-star rating or a 2-star rating. And so it's okay to decide, okay, I'm going to advertise some locations on Google and just not include the zip codes or the location radius of another club. So those reviews do matter, and people will decide, and you'll see walk-in traffic grow when your ratings grow, and you will see it decline when your ratings decline.
Yeah, I can believe that. I mean, who wants to put their faith in a business? First of all, you don't even know the business, and now you're going by the review and it's not looking so positive. So I don't know about you, but I'm a little concerned about that. So makes sense. Megan, I'd like to just ask you, how important is Google My Business to people finding us on Google?
Yes. So Google's not going away. It's here to stay, and people use it. And so I would actually think about your Google My Business page. If you don't have one already, if you have not claimed your business, that's the first step. Number 2 is I would think about your Google My Business page as your primary website. People are going to look at that information on the right-hand side. When you do a Google search and you see that information and those photos and the reviews and the content about your business, that's the knowledge panel. And that's coming from Google My Business. And if that's the first step to see if someone's even willing to click to go to your website to get to any lead gen form. So that is the first place where you want to make sure there's no friction. And in fact, a glowing instance of your club, of your gym, of whatever you offer, your personal training, that's where you need to make sure that you shine. That is definitely where people are going to look to see if they're going to click on your ad, because your ad's to the left, your Google My Business is to the right. Google My Business is free and ads are very expensive. And so they're not going to click on your ads if you have low reviews or it's just not built out. If you have 4 reviews, they might not really think you're that legitimate.
Right. And I have to agree, like, to me, that's like the snapshot of your business over there to the right. And I love that. You can get to the website, you can call, directions. It's probably my favorite thing on Google. Mm-hmm. All right. Next up, Sydney, I want to ask you, is Google My Business the only way to show up maps on Google search?
No, you can actually show up in the map pack if you pay for local search campaigns. Now, this is different than a regular text search campaign or a display campaign in Google Ads. They recently rolled this out, and you're pretty much able to purchase the space toward the top of the map results in Google, which is wonderful. If someone is already has that high intent of searching for a location in Google, they're going to be in the map section of the Google search, right? So if you're showing up toward the top, number one, they have to be relatively close to you in proximity. And they also have to, be searching for something that you have paid for, whether that be a keyword like gyms near me or your branded keyword term. And then you'll be able to show up in that map section. So you can show up there more in more ways through Google My Business and through Google Ads. What's really cool about local search campaigns, it's kind of my secret sauce when I do Google ad campaigns for fitness, especially because you're able to geo-target, very fine-tune it. You're able to show up in YouTube and Gmail when you do local search campaigns. So you're actually paying for a lot more platform exposure than you may think. One caveat with that is you can't exclude your current member list on local search campaigns. So you do have to make all of the ad copy very relevant to someone that's not already a member. So you'd be looking at guest passes or members, joining opportunities, things like that for a new member. You would not want to use that to, speak to a current member at all. But local search campaigns, revolutionary. I would advise anyone to use those.
Yeah, great information, ladies. I'm so glad we have you on today. You're making us all so much smarter about Google. All All right, Megan, I'm going to ask you the next question. Do Google reviews impact your rank in Google search results?
Yes. The answer is an overwhelming yes. So your reviews are really just the barometer of how you rank to all similar businesses in your area. And Google has added in the best gym or the best fitness location in front of all searches, whether you put it in there or not. And so they are looking for, truly, Google's business is to provide good quality results for their customers, and their customers are the people searching. And so they're going to provide the best of the best first. And so those reviews will determine if you show up on the first page or not. They'll determine, whether you're in like the desert on page 4, or if you are legitimately one of the gyms near me that they will showcase. And it's all based on your reviews and the freshness of your website.
Yeah, I know Sydney earlier talked a little bit about making sure that, your star rating is up. So what are your recommendations on how to get the positive reviews?
Yes, first and foremost, I would not put posters all around your club with a QR code asking for reviews. That is a don't do, because you're asking people to blindly review you, and you're going to get all of the grumpy people that are having a bad day that found a hair in the shower. Okay. So you need to ask people specifically to review me. Can you please do me, I'm so glad that you came to my yoga class today. Would you do me a favor and review my class and how I am as a teacher? I'm so glad you like the RPM class today. I love that you love Les Mills. Would you review me and say that I'm a great instructor? Or I'm so glad you've been doing personal training with me for the past 6 months. Would you write a review about me so that you can tell more people about my services? Ask people to review people, not the facilities or what machines you have. And that's how you're going to get great reviews. Love stories about your brand.
Okay, good advice. Very good advice. Do not paste the URL code around the club.
Do not.
Got it. Okay, so while we're on this topic, what do we do if we get that negative review on Google? Go ahead, Megan.
I have been asked multiple times over my 16 years of digital marketing, and the answer is no, you cannot delete it. That is not what you do. The answer is you need to respond, and respond in a smart way, meaning don't use keywords. Don't use your phone number. If you say, we're so sorry that you had a terrible personal training experience at our club, and then give the club name, all of those keywords are going to show up in Google searches. And so when you reply in a very broad, ambiguous way with heartfelt apology, but with 0 keywords.
I never knew that.
Yep.
I hope our listeners out there are saying the same thing. You never knew that. And for me, if I see a negative comment, I think I'm well aware enough to know that no business you're never going to please everybody. But I absolutely love when I see somebody reply to the negative comment. And I agree. I read it and I'm like, you know what? I appreciate that they took the time out of their day to respond to that person, or maybe even in a slight polite way, give their reason why it happened, or maybe they didn't quite think that it happened the same way as the consumer saw it, again, in a polite way. But I appreciate that. All right, Sydney, are you ready to talk about Google Ads?
Oh, yeah, that's my specialty.
All right. So are Google Ads worth the money?
Yes, you should definitely invest in Google Ads. And this is why: you have complete control over the results. Whatever money you put into it, you can actually get a really good return. You can get those leads for $5, $10. That's where you're going to get your less expensive leads. When it comes to comparing Google and social media, iOS 14 updates have kind of thrown marketers for a loop. Even the big agencies are not seeing the same return on social because the algorithm is changing all the time. They have technical issues. They have an identity crisis right now. And Google is one of those things that is a little bit more consistent. And it's also extremely trackable. You can go in there and see what's cost effective, what's not. You can bid on different keywords, and it's actually where your members are, your future members. They're searching for you on Google. And if they're very passively scrolling through their newsfeed and come across you, they may not be in the right frame of mind in that moment to fill out a lead form and actually pull the trigger on joining. But if they're actively searching with intent, this specific gym near me, then they're more apt to fill out that landing page form that you've got, or sign up for a guest pass, or download your app. And it's much easier, especially if you are a platform that does have an app in order for you to get anywhere in your business. I know a lot of fitness boutiques are doing that, where you download the app in order to book your first class. You can actually run app ads in Google that will send them directly to whatever app platform they're on, if they're Android users or if they're iPhone users. And you don't have to mess with anything. It's really, really easy.
We love that. Yeah, go ahead. Join in, Megan.
I did a huge baseline analysis of our cost per lead at O2 Fitness for social ads versus Google ads, and our cost per join, and lifetime of a customer, and also customer lifetime value. And so I can tell you hands down, 1 million hands down, Google is more profitable than your Facebook leads. That being said, social is great to get the word out there and get people thinking and filling the top of the funnel of, I want to think about your brand. But those conversions, and I know you've got your net joins and you got to get the leads in the system and get them in front of the sales team. Google's where it's at.
All right. Simple enough. Google is where it's at. I like that. Sydney, one last question for you. Could you just take 30 seconds and maybe break down the pros and the cons of managing your Google ad internally?
Sure. So pros, you can control everything and your success is entirely up to you. However much effort you want to put into it, that's what you can get out. But you don't know what you don't know. So I would say a major con is it takes time to learn and execute Google ads well. You need to be somewhat fluent in them and understand the psychology behind what people are Googling and why and when, and be able to, execute that really well. If you don't have those resources, I suggest you finding a dedicated partner to help you run them. And I would steer clear of, just having one campaign up. I would do multiple, and I would also really focus on your cost per lead on Google being around your enrollment fee. If you have a $39 enrollment fee, aim for your leads to cost you $39 on Google. Or if you've got a $100 enrollment fee, $100 cost per conversion on Google would also be a healthy CPC. And anything above that, you definitely want to talk to an expert or, do an audit with a PPC manager like myself or whomever you can find and figure out what you can do, because it is a very profitable platform for you.
I also want to say that I am Google Ads certified, and that is awesome. But I am not a surgeon. And, I can read a doctor book, but I wouldn't want to hire me to be the doctor, right? To cut me open and actually do the surgery. And so truly watching someone that is watching Sydney work is just really fun. It's like watching a professional gamer that knows all the cheat codes, right? Like you have to know where things live and how they all work together and what to do and have experience. Like it's fine if you don't want to go be sitting at the World Series of Poker if you've only played a couple times. You got to have enough hands in your brain. And it's like the more experience someone has, the better they are at running ads and the less money you're going to waste. And so I truly believe you should work with an agency or a professional that has done ads before. And not only that, make sure you're with an agency that isn't just hiring people straight out of college and saying, hey, I need you to do this, this, and this on these check boxes. If they're not coming to you with ideas and ways to improve every single month, then they're not the right agency.
All right. Well, ladies, you two are a wealth of knowledge. I can see why you are the industry experts for today on our episode. And honestly, you gave more than enough tips and tricks, and I'm sure we all really appreciate it. So thank you, Megan. Thank you, Sydney, for coming on the Fitness Business Podcast today.
Thanks for having us.
I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. If you would like to reach out to Sydney or Megan, please head to our show notes where you can find their contact details. Show notes can be found at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com or by subscribing to the show notes. Then they will be directly sent to your inbox. You can subscribe to the show notes also at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. In 30 seconds, I'm going to introduce you to next week's guest, Bryce Henson.
G'day, it's JT here, and I was talking to Blair McCaney, the CEO of one of our sponsors, MX Metrics, the other day, and I gave him a hard time about his company's tagline, defeating mediocrity. By definition, that means he's excluding the majority of the market, but Blair just wouldn't budge. He only wants to work with operators who want to punch mediocrity in the face, really smash it. So I've talked to a few of his customers, like Joe Shirelli from Gainesville Health and Fitness, and yeah, it's for real. While Joe is a nice guy, he isn't satisfied with mediocrity either. He's crushing it as well. So I'm still dubious about selling only to operators who want to defeat mediocrity. But if this resonates with you, I reckon you should check them out. Go to mxmetrics.com. But remember, only if you're interested in smashing mediocrity.
Quickfire 5.
Bryce Henson, the Chief Executive Officer of Fit Body Bootcamp, will be joining our guest lineup next week. Ready to hear his answers to the Quickfire 5 questions? Okay, let's get started. Bryce Henson is our Quickfire 5 guest today. Bryce is the Chief Executive Officer for Fit Body Bootcamp. Bryce, welcome to the Fitness Business Podcast.
Thanks so much for having me, Dory. Super excited to be here.
We are glad that you are joining us today, and I can't wait to ask you our fun and exciting questions. And then at the very end, you'll get a chance to pitch why everybody should come back next week and hear your episode. So let's get started with question number 1. What is a life lesson that you learned from the pandemic?
Ooh, respond, do not react, do not act like the government. Is that bad?
No, that's great. This is my favorite. The Quickfire Bar is my favorite. I love to hear everybody's answers. They're always so different. So that is great. Okay. Second question is, if you could play a character in any movie, what character would it be?
Rocky, by far. I am a fitness guy and an underdog at heart. So Rocky's my guy.
All right. So do I get to be Adrian for the next couple minutes?
You do. Plus you're in Philly. Or you're from Philly. So it works out.
Yeah. Yo, Adrian. There we go. Number 3, please complete this statement. Sunday morning, you can find me
at the gym and then jumping in my cold pool for a polar plunge.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm in Florida. There is nothing cold here whatsoever. You usually jump into a hot pool if you jump into anything. All right, here we go. We'll take a book recommendation. What's your number 1 book that you'd recommend to all of our FBP family?
Ooh, leaders are readers, so I love this. But Tim Grover's Relentless absolutely changed my life. Just about being relentless and determined, huge game changer. Highly recommend.
Okay, thanks for the book recommendation. We will write that down. And then finally, this is your chance for you to take about 30 seconds and pitch why our FBP family should come back next week for your episode. Take it away.
Ooh, you're going to have to come back for this episode because you're going to learn about leadership. You're going to learn about business. You're going to learn about fitness, and you're going to learn about life. So excited to connect with you guys next week. And that's the reason you should be on the show.
I am looking so forward to Bryce's episode, and I think you will enjoy it as well. So make sure you subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast player, or even better yet, let us do the work for you and we'll send you the show. Subscribe at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. It is that easy. It is time to hand out the thank yous. Thank you to our founding partner, Active Management, our partners, Keep Me, My Zone, Discover Strength, Tribe Team Training, One Fit Stop, and ISSA. And our advertisers, we thank you as well, Rex Roundtables, MX Metrics, and Vapor Fresh. We believe what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but woven into the lives of others.